We're on a rigid timetable because we have to be off the stage by about 10:57. So for the wrap, I'm going to ask each of the panelists, starting with Kelly, to leave you with something beyond what they've already done. So what question can a parent start to ask at his or her school to start that "I want that" conversation at school?
I would ask, how are you, school, preparing my child to change this troubled world we live in? Because that means kids have to be knowledgeable. They need to be able to find out more about problems. They need to be creative because they need to be able to come up with solutions. They need to experience the impact of their voice making a difference, to stay motivated, and they need to have good social emotional skills to be able to collaborate and experience solidarity and have the resilience to keep going when it doesn't work right away, all those things. So I would ask my school, what are you doing to prepare my child to change the world?
Wonderful. Well, that won't take long to answer. Nancy, it's a great question. Nancy, what would you leave them with?
That relates a little bit to my question, which is, I would ask the school, what are you teaching that matters to my kids or to our kids? And how do you know it matters? And how do you know they know it matters? Because I think that when students are engaged in learning that really matters, the basic skills come along too.
Fabulous. Aaron Warner.
I would ask teachers and educators, families, to think about how are we investing in each of our students and spending the time to get to know them so that we can help and assist them to recognize and value their individual strengths. So taking time to engage our students, to empower them so that they feel empowered to then engage with what they're doing at school.
Wonderful. Ingrid, what's your question?
My question that parents should ask is how their school systems are building a relationship of reciprocity between students and parents, because it's important to have the perspectives of all stakeholders involved in every aspect of developing school program procedures and policies.
Aaron, thank you so much, Ingrid. Aaron, Prosper.
I think my question might summarize all of these in a way. The big buzzword, and being Indigenous, I'm very involved in this conversation, is the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. I know this is a big topic here in Ontario schools. So my question to you is, what are you doing to go beyond the calls to action? The 96 calls, the 96 recommendations, what are you doing? And what are you doing to not treat those as a checkbox? The Truth and Reconciliation Commission has a long history that dates before 2007. Truth and Reconciliation Commission was actually created out of a class action lawsuit, the very first in the 1990s, which was filed by Nora Bernard of Shubenacadie First Nation. She's a Mi'kmaq woman. That lawsuit was won in 2007, and the mandate of that lawsuit was the TRC. That is how the TRC was created. It was not the conservative government. And so I'm telling you, what are you doing to teach your children to go beyond? And so also to add, and I know I'm going off,
It's all right.
I attend school at Dalhousie. I'm sure many of you have seen Dalhousie in the news lately. And if you haven't, just Google Dalhousie University, and the first few hits, it's a very polarizing conversation that's being had at Dalhousie. But the thing I said, and it was brought up in our Senate, and the thing that I said, the issue that's at play at Dalhousie, even though the topic started from trying to talk about Indigenous issues, and it's kind of gone beyond that. We're now talking about equity, diversity, Islamophobia, transphobia, you name it, the whole spectrum. We were talking about this on our campus. And the thing that I said was, this is all reconciliation. reconciliation is not only for Indigenous people, it is for non-Indigenous people of every color in this country. Those 96 calls to action are for every individual, new or old, in this country, no matter how many generations you've been here, no matter how many generations your family's been here. And the conversation at Dalhousie is an example of that. And we are going to have polarizing conversation. We're going to have disagreements. And so my question to you, how are you going to resolve that? And how are you going to do that effectively?
Wonderful. So, we did it, panel. It's 10:57. So before they leave, I just want to leave you with a couple of thoughts. We heard about a willingness for difficult conversations, respect, listening, engaging, thinking of the students, putting them as genuine players in part of the conversation and the solution. So there are lots of ideas. Go get them. And just please join me in thanking this fabulous panel.